Good afternoon. I want to welcome everybody to our live broadcast. I'm Les Foltz with Encore Talent Productions. Thanks for joining us live on air. Our special guests include Jake Mckim of Birch Street Music, famous dancers and choreographers Jimmy R.O. Smith, and Chase Benz. We're excited about your upcoming event in Westchester, Ohio. You guys have both choreographed and performed for Jennifer Lopez, Rihanna, Fergie, and the Black Eyed Peas, just to name a few. We're really excited to have you on the program today. Let's start with a round of introductions. Let's start with Jake.
Hey everybody, I'm just happy to be here to talk about an amazing event that we're putting on it's going to be fun. The goal of what we do is to bring the music industry to other parts of the world outside of LA, outside of New York, outside of Atlanta and Nashville. So it's going to be very exciting to bring guys like Jimmy and Chase to Ohio. I know if I were growing up in Ohio and wanted to be a dancer myself, this would be an incredible opportunity. So that's kind of the whole idea. I started a company several years ago called AMP Music Academy, and we bring workshops to people all across the country. And we've been throughout LA. We've been to Texas. We've been to Tennessee. We've been to Florida, and even internationally. So it's exciting to come to Ohio with this. Jimmy and Chase are going to blow your minds with what they're going to do with their choreography, and I'm just glad we can make it happen.
Hey, thanks, Jake. Glad to have you on the program today. Let's hear from Jimmy. Jimmy R.O. Smith. Tell us all about it, man. Where are you from?
Hello. Hi, I'm Jimmy R.O. Smith, and I'm straight out of Fort Worth, Texas. But I've been living in L.A. for about 10 years now. So I've been a professional dancer for about 10 years, I'll say. And again, I've danced for so many artists as Jennifer Lopez, of course, Usher, Chris Brown, Rihanna, just to name a few, and choreographed. Well, I guess had the opportunity to extend my choreography to World Music Awards with Jennifer Lopez, the Super Bowl with the Black Eyed Peas, and other different opportunities. And it's just a pleasure to be here.
We're excited to have you, Jimmy, and yeah, it's really neat to connect with you and Chase. You guys have certainly danced and choreographed for some awesome top performers, celebrities, and artists, and we're just blessed to have you on this program today, and we're looking forward to the event. Hey, Chase, why don't you tell our viewers all about you, a little bit of history about yourself, and where you come from, man?
Hey guys, what's up? My favorite color is green. I like long walks on the beach. What's up, guys? I'm Chase Benz, originally from Nashville, Tennessee, but I live in Los Angeles. I lived there for about 7 years now. I grew up in Nashville and being a music town. I got my start there at an early age when I was 15. Started my first tour when I was 15 with somebody I looked up to during that time, Tina Landon. Big choreographer for Janet Jackson and pretty much everybody else. So that was kind of like my break into the industry. And I stayed in Nashville for a couple of years just because I wanted to explore my options as far as what cities, and so I started working on films in Nashville. I started working in films in Atlanta and New York and live shows out of those cities, and then ventured out to LA. And I started off choreographing for country music videos and award shows, and then kind of expanded into pop music, R&B, and that kind of thing. And so I worked with Rihanna, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, J-Lo with Jimmy. That's how we we met on Stomp the Yard on the film, but then we kind of reconnected when we toured with Jennifer Lopez for about 2 years. And now I'm current associate producer for the Brittany Spears Las Vegas show. So I kind of help kind of update the show, when needs, once the director he creates the show, and then for the next 2 years, I'm there to keep up with the choreography, make sure that it stays intact, as well as the dancers, as well as production, as well as Brittany, all that. So I have a 1-year-old and a wife, and they're back in LA at the moment. So they didn't come with me on this trip because this trip was a little bit too crazy. So.
No problem. I have some exciting questions to ask you guys in preparation for your event here in Cincinnati. We just really want to know a little bit more about you. Let's start with Jimmy on this one. Jimmy, when did you discover your passion for dance?
I think my story is a pretty unique one. I grew up playing sports and in the band and just kind of doing all the things that were kind of around me. But my mom, dance, drama, music, voice, all those things, and always had different programs, different shows growing up. So I was always around it. But at that time, in the 80s, there just wasn't there just wasn't what we have now. It wasn't the broad spectrum of what they have now, the opportunities of going to class and hip-hop class and everything. So all I saw was what was on TV, but it wasn't being taught in my hometown. So I would always look on videos and do little talent shows, but it would literally, we would sit in front of the TV and tape the videos and then just copy the videos and do those on talent shows. And that's what me and my cousin Shonda, that's what we would do, like growing up, and my mom would help us. So we did that type of dancing, but it never was like in class, and I never even looked at it as anything I wanted to do. It was just fun stuff to do, maybe to win money or go on trips or just have fun. But it wasn't until after college, when I graduated in Houston, that I moved out. I was moving out with my sister, and I was moving to LA for acting, and that's what I wanted to do. Well, that's what I still want to do. But I was just an actor at heart, but the acting classes were too expensive, and so I didn't know anyone in LA. I ended up knowing one person, and that one person was a dancer, and so I started meeting people through them, and clearly they were dancers, and they would be in class all the time, and I didn't even have much money, so dance classes were only $10. So I started out just going to dance class, didn't even realize it was part of my purpose, and from there just started meeting people and liking it more and more and more and more and more. So I found myself in LA, a graduate of college, so I was older, in classes from sun up to sundown. Like I would go to work, go right back to class. And that was like my day. That's how I was filled with. So that was like my training. My training grounds were in LA after college. And I say I fell into it, but clearly it was God's purpose in my life, just to reach and work through me. But I didn't realize it at the time. I just thought it was just something fun to do, and I enjoyed it. And then from there, of course, you work hard at anything. What happens? You see the profit. And so different people started approaching me. Oh, you want to do this class? Oh, do you want to do this? You want to do that? And I'm like, why not? It pays way more than what I'm making now. And that's kind of how I just started, and I just kind of fell in love with it through that. Although I've been around it all my life, but I fell in love with it later and realized that I could do it as a career, as opposed to just a fun activity.
And what a competitive industry, and really tough to stand out. So I'm excited that you're coming to town to tell your story, to help these dancers understand, what type of commitment that they have to make, and maybe some tips and advice that they can use to help stand out in that crowd. I watched your Fox 4 News YouTube video clip about, all the people around the block,
Oh, yeah.
up to audition for J-Lo to be on her dance team or what have you, and
it's a little different. It's not a dance team.
I'm sorry. That's correct me.
Way different.
Yeah, anyhow, I was just impressed because it takes a lot of hard work, and we're excited to have you in town. So I kind of had one of those godly moments too. You know, when I was in, and I represent Encore Talent Productions and their social media realm, and I had that godly moment too. You know, when I was younger, I was in the 6th grade reporting on current events, and fast forward to 31, I'm reporting on current events. You know, it's pretty cool. So I had that godly.
Yeah, we're pretty current.
What's that?
I said, yeah, I think we're pretty current.
Yeah, awesome. Let's hear from Chase. And when did you discover your passion for dance, Chase?
It's funny because I kind of have a similar story to Jimmy. I was playing sports throughout school. I played soccer. Soccer was like my main thing. But for some reason, I just loved music. I loved instruments, and I loved performance. I remember watching, I think it was back in '92, Michael Jackson. It was the HBO special that he did. It was massive. I think it was the Dangerous Tour. But I remember watching him and just being like, okay, somehow, some way, I got to do something like that. And I just remember like just seeing all these dancers on stage, and it was like 4 dudes, and I was like, like that's what I got to do. Somehow, some way, I got to do it. And so my parents entered me in like a dance school in Nashville at the time, and one of the teachers there, he took like a big interest in me, and because for some reason I loved like lip syncing songs, and I would actually like perform it, and like I had like this small crush on my 1st grade teacher. So there was one time where I turned the music on in school, and I got in trouble a little bit, but I brought like a boombox, and I forget what artist it was, but I started singing with the class in there and like performing, and I was like, how do I perfect this? How do I make this better? And so like,
was it
my parents,
new
dance
kids
class,
new Kids on the Block or something?
Yeah, probably something like that. Or Sir Mix-a-Lot. I'm just kidding. I wasn't allowed to listen to that when I was there. But yeah, so that's kind of how like I got started in dance class, and the studio that I was at. I was at that studio for 12 years. They were kind of like, of the South, they were a massive studio that brought in auditions for, the city of Nashville. So there was always something going on. So I had to take an X amount of hours a week, like with training with ballet, with hip hop, jazz, tap. But it was more of a commercial studio as well. And so we had the opportunity at, young age for basically all the students there to audition for commercials or TV. And it was almost like a LA studio, but it was in Nashville. And so I got, broken into the industry at a young age because of the studio that I was at. And then I think I was 15 at the time, and a big choreographer, Jerry Slaughter, he's now on like The Voice. He does all kinds of TV shows. He's choreographed Christina Aguilera, but he was teaching a master class, but also at the same time holding an audition for an artist that was pretty big at the time. And so I went to his master class at my studio, and they asked me after the class, hey, can you do a couple of shows with us? It was for this artist, Stacey Rico. So I did those couple shows. Fast forward a year later, she blows up, does this big tour over in Asia, and Tina Landon, who was a choreographer, she was directing the whole thing, the whole project, and so they brought me on, and that was kind of like my intro to this world.
That's awesome. Jake, when did you get into this industry? When did you find your passion for connecting artists into the music industry?
Yeah, obviously my path is a little bit different because I'm not a dancer or choreographer, but I grew up as a singer, doing, participating in boy choirs and elementary, choirs and all the way through high school. I went to the High School for Performing and Visual Arts in Houston, loved singing, but kind of realized that I wasn't the best at what I was doing. So I knew that if I wasn't the best at my school or in my city or in my state, how was I gonna, be that great nationally, internationally? So kind of fortunate to figure that part out and slide to the background and go into the music business and just kind of learned everything I could about the business. I went to LA and interned for Babyface and his then wife Tracy Edmonds at their company Edmonds Entertainment, and just loved every minute of it. And then finished up school and got a job with the Knowles family, Beyonce and her father Matthew Knowles. Worked for her, for her management company for several years. Got to do a lot of really cool things, and then eventually left and started my own company because, for me, my specialty, what I like to do is work with artists from, raw talent to the moment that you see them on stage, at Madison Square Garden. And there's a whole process to get there. And a big part of that is, once they're done in the studio, how do they present it live? What does this look like? What does it sound like? And so my whole career, I've established relationships with guys like Jimmy and Chase who can take an artist who is a, very talented singer or good in the studio and put them on stage and make them into stars. And so, a lot of what I do is just connecting the right, the artist with the right people, whether it's a producer and a songwriter or a choreographer or, any other, vocal coach, and helping them to get to the big time.
Well, that's what's really awesome about this event coming up in Cincinnati, because folks have an opportunity to connect with each one of you, so that they can help understand more about this industry, how it works, and learn from you guys. And that's why we're really excited to have you at the event. Let's talk about this workshop. Thanks for sharing your story and your passions. Let's talk about the workshop. What are you guys planning for the attendees? Let's start with Jimmy.
Start with Jimmy. Hey, first, do we know like who's like watching this right now? Are they like the Cincinnati dancers or?
Well, Jimmy, I'm telling you that you're live on YouTube, so the world.
So we're speaking to everyone. So everyone in the world, come to Cincinnati.
Everybody, Morocco, from London to Ibiza.
Yeah.
Well, what to expect is just high impact, energy, fun, creativity, just kind of explosion, and of course with me, well, I'm sure with Chase too, but I can just speak for myself. I kind of offer a little a different side of things, just because mine is not so conventional. My way of entering this industry is not so conventional. Like, oh, I've been doing this all my life, and it was always a dream of mine. For dance itself, I love the arts as a whole. I love acting. I love music. I love dance. I love the whole shebang, I guess you could say. So I just bring all of that into my class. So when I am teaching, it's more than just learning steps. It's I like just vibe and feeling, and I like to just convey the message that I've been given, mainly to newer dancers and newer artists and newer talent, to just go for it. To just not stop, not give up. It's not going to be easy, but neither is being a lawyer, neither is being a dentist, neither is being a junkie. None of it is easy. So it's like you may as well do something that you enjoy doing and that you're passionate about. And I'm a living witness of that. And so I kind of bring that through movement. Not saying I'm in there praise dancing or anything, but it just comes from a different place. And I do talk, So in that class, expect that side of it, as opposed to just learning dance steps and moving on. I want you to kind of leave my classes with more of an experience, as opposed to just dance class, because it's always going to be somebody better, greater, and everything. But that's just what I bring.
And Jake, I'm sorry, Chase. What what can they expect from your input as well?
I like to teach. I mean, similar to Jimmy, but my approach is I like to challenge the students. And if it's something like when I teach, even if it's something that I teach that's a little more difficult for them, that's what I feel like these kids need to understand, but in the right way. But also at the same time, not just teach a bunch of steps, but also teach to love it, to teach individuality. And to teach performance, because you know, you go to LA, you go to New York, you go to Atlanta, and there's amazing dancers everywhere, but there's not a lot of individuality and how to stay like what makes you unique in the dance room, what makes you unique in the audition process. That's what I try to teach, and whether you pick up my choreography or you don't, all I care about is that you're trying your best. You're actually really fighting to get the choreo, and you're fighting to get the performance aspect of it. And so that's how I like to teach things. You can have somebody, you can put steps on anybody. You can put steps on my grandmother, and she'll probably kill it. But it's the performance aspect that is so important, and it gives it life. It's like, you know, you look at somebody like a Bruno Mars or a Michael Jackson. You know, they can kill steps, they can kill the instruments, they can do that, but what makes them unique is their heart and their soul into it. And so I want to teach these kids to like really love performance, love what they do. If they're there, if they're, you know, they're paying for whatever, you know, be there with a purpose, and, you know, show that you love it. Because you can walk into an audition room, and if you're not showing these people that you love what you do, you won't. I mean, you won't make it. And that's with anything. You have to love, you know, being a doctor. You got to love being a policeman. You got to love, you know, being all these things, and you got to have the heart and the soul behind it. And it's a constant search. Like, we're constantly searching, I feel like, you know, especially in this time and age. Like, you continue to search. So yeah, I think overall that's my kind of my way of teaching and what to expect.
That's awesome. Chase, let me ask you, what advice can you give young dancers about what type of classes they should be taking to prepare for a profession as a dancer?
I think the more classes, the better. The more multi-centered that you are with classes, the better, because you never know what's going to be thrown in front of you. I mean, and Jimmy can contest to this as well. Like, we've been thrown into tours or jobs where, you know, they'll ask us to do the craziest thing. We're like, oh man, like, this is new, you know. But I think when you have more information in your head, you have more training in your head, it's always going to help you in the long run, no matter what it is. I mean, you could be, you know, learning stilts, or, you know, anywhere from learning stilts to ballet. I mean, the more information, the more training you have will always benefit you. It won't take you down. And always, 9 times out of 10, it always works that way.
Hey, Jimmy, and thanks for that input, Chase. Jimmy, what's a good age to start looking at doing auditions?
I don't think it's an age to it, because again, a lot of people probably would have looked at like, why would you move and go to Los Angeles and try to start all over when you have a degree? Like, just start working out of your degree. So I don't really put an age limit on any of it, because you know, you have the Raven Simones, you have the Michael Jacksons, you have the Janet Jacksons. You know, all those people started as like babies and kids in this industry, and then, you know, then you have people like me. I started like after college, and it's not like I was doing it simultaneously. Now, if I had a choice to do it all over again, I would, but you know, I didn't. So I don't really think there's an age. Just a purpose and calling to everyone's life, and you just have to follow that and be in tune with that, and know that the main thing to know that nothing's easy. So that dance class may be hard today, or you may not see any value in going that extra mile, but there is purpose within that. There is validity in that. You'll see that later, and that's why this person is winning all the awards, or this person is so great, or this person is a master at their craft, is because they went that extra mile. And those are the things that I did. And I'm not saying I'm the best better than anyone. I am the best at what I could give. I am my best, you know, and that's kind of the only thing you can do and offer, because if you give anything less than that, you're kind of doing a disservice to yourself and to the craft itself. It's like, what are you doing it for? You're just kind of wasting your time. So when you are in those classes, the ballet, the jazz, you may hate it, but all of that stuff, kind of like what Chase said, all of that stuff matters. You never know what you're going to need. It's like math, science. I hated math. I hated this subject. I hated that subject. But right now, when I'm paying my bills, I'm using math. When I'm driving down the freeway, I'm using it. You know, it's like all of those things coincide, and it's the same. It's no different with dance. All of those things, the ballet or whatever. So don't put an age on it at all. Just, you know, just go for it. If you feel it in your heart, go for it.
I couldn't agree with you more, and super excited about your trip to Cincinnati and Westchester, Ohio. Is there any additional information you guys want to share about this event? Any exciting news or tips or anything in preparation for the event?
Well, I'll go, Jake.
Yeah, I'll let you finish. I just wanted to say that, you know, I think so many people, you know, from places like Ohio and Texas and, you know, Iowa and many other places feel left out of the industry and feel like they have to. They don't have a choice but to pick up their lives and move to a major market like LA. And, you know, in the end, you probably do, but what we wanted to do is bring that experience to the people, you know, to the people that have that interest, and to have access to guys like Jimmy and Chase when they're still young or still developing, and give it a try and see, you know, how good they are at it and how much they really love it. I mean, they may leave and go, wow, you know, that's not for me. I'm just not cut out for it. Or they may leave and go, wow, I never want to do anything else ever again, you know. And so that's the experience that we're trying to bring. You know, we couldn't be more excited to do it.
Absolutely. Chase, any final comments, tips?
Yeah, just touching on what, you know, Jake said. I think, you know, because you know, there's so many cities that are longing for, you know, information, you know, good training. You know, they feel like they have to go to LA or New York. But I think if anything, like what this is and what you know we're trying to do is yeah, you may not get this every day like if you lived in LA or New York, but what we are is a stepping stone, so you get there, so you realize, oh, I need to, you know, this is what I need to do. That's what these classes are for, is to give you their like help, you know, to step you to the next level and to continue to, like, I think it's more of like encouragement kind of thing. So I think if at the end of the day, you may not get this every day, but it's the next step kind of thing.
Awesome. Jimmy, any final comments?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. It's just, I love doing things like this because I remember being that kid whereas I could have started dance earlier had I been afforded the opportunity and just been exposed to the style that would take me into this career. And this is what things like this is. When I'm able to bring Chase or connect with Jake and we go together, and you're literally into a place like Cincinnati to bring you the best of the best, you know, in this industry. I mean, of course, you know, there's a million other people, but these are like top grade people. So you're getting great training, great opportunity, great knowledge on top of knowledge on top of knowledge. And things that just could show you yes or no. If I want this, if I don't want this, if I want to go for it, I don't want to go for it. Because none of us got there just haphazardly. Like, all of us worked to get where we are, and the credits up under us. So that's kind of what we want to bring, and just show them that it's hard work and dedication. You want to bring hard work, you want to bring dedication, and just your A game always. And it may be some things that your mom has told you before. It may be some things that your dance teacher right now has told you, but coming from Jimmy, coming from Chase, coming from Jake, you may see it in a different way. And that's our whole purpose, because we want you to succeed.
I am really excited about it, and I can't thank each one of you enough for dedicating your schedule and your time to help talk about this event. And the 3-day intensive will consist of dance instruction, music industry education, performance coaching, and how to get started in the industry. The dates are June 29th through July 1st. Tickets are on sale through Encore Talent Productions, and you can find links on Facebook and Eventbrite. You can email encore@zoomtown.com for more information. Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you guys in June.
Cool. We'll see